Okay, so I'm currently in the parking garage underneath the AMC theaters that I went to see the first in a double feature that I decided to do today. And that first movie was about 4 hours. But, like, I felt it, but in a good way, you know? Durandar the Revenge is an epic tale that's at least partially true. It's actually mostly about India versus Pakistan in like between 2000 and like 2018, but like action packed to like the absolute max. So yeah, is it not spoilable? Absolutely. You should see it in the theaters because you're not going to see it otherwise. It's 4 hours. Obviously, I'm still going to spoil it though because that's what we do here. So they broke it up, sorry, into chapters. Chapter one takes place in his home, still in India, in Uttar Pradesh. Uh, he's going after this like gang that just violated his family, right? Um, they they killed his dad, they killed his older sister, they kidnapped his younger sister. Um, he gets to run the ones. He does that. He kills them all. He has to go to court for it because unfortunately killing is wrong. But he gets taken off to the side basically by like Indian intelligence that were like, you're really good at that. Help us out. And so they send him to like different missions. They send him to Afghanistan, which the movie skips past that part actually. So I wonder what happened there. But anyways, he goes to Afghanistan, and then a couple years later he's in Karachi, in Pakistan, right? And that's where we begin chapter two. Now, in chapter two, there's this like gang war between like the Balochs and Pudon, I believe. Now, Jaskirat, our main character, who now undercover, his name is Hamza, is infiltrating the Balochs, right? And the Balochs used to have like absolute control of Liari, a like subsection in Karachi, which is in Pakistan. Keep this in mind, Pakistan different from India. So Hamza, aka Jaskirat, infiltrates the Balochs, befriends the heir to the throne of Liari, basically, or the ex heir to the throne, because currently the Pudan dude is in charge of the place. Anyways, and so the Pudans are assholes in their own right, but the war, the gang war, is happening. Um, the Pudans fall out of favor with like the people. So much happened in that movie. Uh, so the Pudans fall, the Balochs rise. The main Balak guy is friends with Jaskirat, Hamza, and so trust him enough to just go and do whatever is necessary, right? Jaskirat, aka Hamza, sends the lead Balak guy to basically to like run to like let the like flames and whatnot come down. But actually, he's still giving him up to like Indian intelligence because at the end of the day, he is a gangster, and all that shit leads to. I just remembered the Balak's name, Usair. So Usair gets talking to running off to Dubai to like let the heat go down, but Hamza was intending for him to be picked up by like Indian intelligence slash allies of Indian intelligence, which in this case would just be Abu Dhabi. And so then that leads to a power vacuum since neither of the gang leaders is sitting in the throne that would be the king of Liari. Uh, so therefore, our boy Hamza takes up the role. So Hamza's, aka Jaskirat, our main character, is in charge of Liari, which in turn is in charge of Karachi, which in turn is in charge of Pakistan. Even though there's obviously like the actual official politicians and stuff, he's like the underground like king, you know? So in chapter three is where it gets like truly like political, like in the literal sense, you know? Um, all these power brokers, um, besides Hamza, are like gathering around this like really old guy, right? Bade Saab, I think was how they referred to him. Um, and so all these power brokers are standing around inside their little like fancy meeting room or whatever, and talking about a, I kid you not, Iran Contra style level conspiracy deal for trying to take over Indian elections, right? Like we'll use counterfeit money to fund and bribe our way into the National Assembly for India, while also using those profits, using the fake currency, sorry, um, to buy and sell drugs at a premium rate to the Indian people to to just fully fuck with them, you know? We're doing opium wars and Iran Contra both at the same time? Sure. My lips were a little chapped. Don't worry about it. Anyways, uh, so in continuing in chapter three, right? They're trying to set that up. Obviously, Hamza's telling the Indian intelligence about this because it's like, what the fuck? Um, and so, you know, at this point, also Hamza has like a wife and a child, a nice ass house. You know, he's been living as the king of Liari for like a couple of years at this point, right? It's about 2010, I think, at this point. The movie we started in 2000 when he was in Uttar Pradesh, and now he's the king of Liari, right? Um, so he's having a little like celebration party, to like have all these power brokers invited in, and to have the like basically the carrier, the person who's like going to carry out at least a third of the drug smuggling guns exchange plan. And as it turns out, the dude in question was an old friend of his from back in like 2000 and back in India. Um, I need to speed this up. What you need to know about his friend is that his friend's dad was a junkie, and now he's selling to other junkies. So like it's a weird mind fuck for Hamza, right? Um, and so they kind of confront each other inside a bathroom, right? Um, uh, and so then we cross over the interval point, and then we enter into chapter four. Um, and they begin right still inside the bathroom, right? They're arguing about how dare you do X, Y, and Z or whatever to each other, because they left each other in a very different place like a decade ago, in the storyline. They have a little bit of a fight. Um, my Jaskirat's friend stabs himself in the eye because he was trying to stab Jaskirat in the eye, and he got out of the way. But but then that's kind of a problem because he's supposed to be the drug runner, and he died inside his house. Um, but luckily, his handler was there. Hamza's handler has been like relatively close by like the entire time, right? He owned like a juice shop, and in a public sense, but privately he was like Hamza's handler, right? So Hamza's handler takes the fall for it. Hamza then shoots him in front in front of witnesses so that it seems like he's not like connected really, right? But like one of the smarter people in the criminal outfit he is in charge of, basically. Okay, scratch that. Sorry. He's still not like in charge. He's like the right hand man's right hand man, if that makes any sense, right? But he's still like the underground king, right? So his boss, basically, let's just call him Major, because I can't remember his name right now. Uh, no, it was SP. Sorry. So SP, I would say suspects Hamza, but doesn't like know for a fact. So he sends somebody out to go find that out. But all of that scene is being watched by like Hamza's wife, who at the time did not know that her husband was Indian intelligence, and is kind of torn because national pride and all that, right? So she confronts Hamza. Hamza, like, tells the truth because he loves her. And she shares with him that SP is going to be coming after him. So he goes after SP first. And this begins chapter 5. Now, chapter 5 is just murder. Murder everywhere. The cinematography of all of this action is incredible. But like it's murder, like violent murder everywhere. Don't watch with your kids. So they're taking out all the terror threats to India that's in Pakistan, right? And Jaskirat makes it clear that there's a distinction between like the people of Pakistan and like the terrorists who are using the plight of the Pakistani people for their own gain, right? At some point during this chapter, we randomly cut to this one guy who's been doing the red string connecting the dots type of thing on his board that we hadn't seen before chapter 5. So I assumed maybe he was like cut out in parts because it was assumed that his name was just known. They didn't mention it until like chapter 6. His name's like Omar or whatever. So Omar is connecting the dots, making sure that his suspicions are founded. So basically, everybody that's a terror threat is killed, except for like the general kind of guy, right? And at this point, Omar has shared with the major, is that what we'll call him? Because I got him confused because a lot of guys have beards in this movie. A lot of the main guys, rather. So now the major knows that Hamza isn't who he says he is. And then, threatens Hamza's wife and child back at his place. Omar, rather, but under the orders of the major, I would presume. And sets up this like showdown wherein at the madrasa, that's what it was, at the madrasa in Pakistan, they're smuggling like weapons in to like have like this one big huge like jihad, for lack of a better word. So the final battle is set up. Hamza walks into the temple. The major stabs him, but unbeknownst to him, Hamza already had a time to burn it all down plan already set in motion. There were there were bombs inside the guns that they were selling to the terrorists. And outside, they were posting up their like resistance fighters to just like pin them down inside that area, basically, right? So Hamza and the major have this whole fight out inside the building, outside the building with like a rocket launcher, and then they somehow make their way over to like train tracks, still fighting. Before they got to the train tracks, Hamza kind of cut the major's legs off with like this like scythe attached to like a chain. It was incredible. Hamza basically. So I was confused by what exactly he was doing because at first it looked like he was going to like hang the guy with his own chains, but then he like stuffed him inside like a kerosene tank. Which then I thought, oh, he's gonna drown him in it? No. We're gonna blow that shit up, and it's attached to a train, so we're gonna blow the whole train of kerosene and him up. So the major is dead, but Omar is not. Omar and a couple of like Pakistani police come to like arrest him and like torture him and whatnot. So then we cut off to chapter 6, where the spy chief of like India and the spy chief, I presume, of Pakistan, are like having a conversation while Hamza's getting tortured, like in the background, basically. And then the Indian intelligence chief basically pulls a, "We caught you trying to sell to Israel. Your people won't like that." And so our boy gets released. And so Hamza goes back home now as Jaskirad. Then doesn't really like actually approach his family that he hasn't seen in like 16 years. He just decided to like stand halfway in the roadway and let them just walk into their house without him acknowledging their existence or them acknowledging his existence. And then the movie's just like ends. I don't know. I think 4 hours should be enough to like make him feel like he deserves to go see his family. I don't know, man. 16 years feels like a lot to not talk to your family. So yeah, Dhurandhar, The Revenge is a vast story that should be experienced. Because I didn't do it justice here. There was too much. There was too much to like go over. In fact, they themselves even put scenes that probably should have gone in like chapter 1 or chapter 2, like at the end, in the end credits. Literally, too much movie. But enjoy too much movie. Anyways, let's hope I can summarize the next movie in like a shorter time span.